Welcome to the Stack of Stats podcast. I am your host, Pam Maldonado, joined by my favorite college football handicapper, Harry Gagnon of the Against All Odds podcast with Cousin Sal. We are here to bring you our 7 against the spread contest picks for week 12. Oh my God, week 12 of the college football season. Harry, my man, I'm happy to have you back. We went 3-3-1 last week. Had a bad beat. I don't want to talk about South Alabama, but Scott Van Pelt, when he says it's a bad beat, hey, I'm gonna believe that it was a bad beat. But we are barely profitable on the season, 36-33-1 overall. How are you feeling as we approach the end of the college football season?
Look, it's been tough, Pam. We've held our own. We've had some tough losses along the way. I don't know. I just think that it was unfortunate. Like I said, I brought it up last week. I'm bringing it up again this week. Boy, that when we had the Colts against the Titans and we had the Vikings against the Cowboys.
That was our opportunity to go 7-0.
Right. That was our shot there. And then we come right back the next Saturday and lose like the first 2 games. And it's like, oh, that was a monster 4-game swing, So, but listen, we're still plugging away. We're still trying to make a profit every week. And we've overall for the season, we've made made a little bit. So it's okay.
It is. It's really tough to put together 7 against the spread picks, even though I say, you give me your 3, I give you my 3. It's hard. It's tough. It's really tough to sweep every week. So I'm happy with what we're doing. We got 2 weeks left. Let's finish out strong. Just a reminder of what it is that we are doing. We are in a contest, 7 against the spread picks between college football and the NFL. Harry shares with me his top 3. I share with him my top 3. And we kind of have some wiggle room there to kind of pick and choose and decide. There's so many games between both leagues. So we tried to put together our best 7. Harry, your 3. It's kind of all over the place. You sent me some college first, and then you sent me on another text some NFL. So I'm not exactly sure which ones you absolutely love. I will say first that you did like Utah. The line opened at 3. For the contest, it is 3.5. Because of that hook, I can't comfortably put it in. I know that you like it, but that hook in college football with 2 run teams, that in a game that means so much to both squads, I think that hook could come into play.
Well, I just think that in this game, actually, Pam, I just think that this is the last chance for Oregon, and it's not going to happen for them for a national championship. Their ride is over. I just think Utah is too dominant here. They're 17-1 straight up in their last 18 games. Utah is at home. They've won 6 of the last 7. The quarterback, Cam Rising's been fantastic. 14 touchdowns. He's only had interceptions in 1 game. Utah's averaging 36 points a game at home, Pam. And here's my stat. I really haven't been impressed with Anthony Brown, the quarterback for Oregon. But 5 of their games, Oregon, have been decided by 7 or less. And here's the kicker. Stanford. I'm going to mention Stanford for a second here.
Right.
Stanford's lost 6 of the last 7 games. Their 1 win was against Oregon. I think Oregon, I called it, me and you have been saying it all year, that we bet against them. Oklahoma screwed us a couple times. They were fraudulent. They lost against Baylor. We love that. That was one of our plays last week, Baylor. And I've been saying it about Oregon too. Now, this is where I think they slip up.
I don't think that either team is dominant over the other. In fact, Oregon leads in almost every scoring statistic over Utah. Utah at home. I know the Utes are very good with that home record. However, you're getting the hook. They can still win the game by 3 points. So it's because of that hook. I want us to have as near of a perfect 7 as possible. If this was a betting option, hey, I'm all for you wanting to put your own dollars onto 3.5. But if you want to do a contest that we're trying to go finish strong, finish with a good solid record, and give people the suggestion, if I myself wouldn't put buy on 3.5 because of that hook, then why would I tell other people to?
Understood. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I do agree with your points that I think this is going to be I think in my opinion, this is going to be a tough, hard fought match. I like the under in this game. So because I am liking the under, it's going to be the team that has the ball last. It's going to be, you have 2 solid run teams. They're 3rd and 12th in the rushing yards, and both their defenses are really top contending against the run. So it's going to be ground and pound. That's what they do. I do agree that Utah has a better quarterback. I just don't see a blowout. I couldn't comfortably that hook. If it was 3, I'm all in. 3.5, I'm a little more skittish.
I just think plus it's kind of a fishy line. I know you're not you may not fall for this as much as maybe I do, and
Right.
in a lot of spots. But I mean, Oregon's right there for the national championship, and
Why are they the
Utah's a
underdog?
3.5 point favorite. Not only just underdog, up to 3.5.
Well,
Interesting.
no, the line opened at 3 and it's
Yeah,
been
but not
pushed up to
up
three
to
and a
three and
half.
a half. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, well, if we can't
I
think
got
of
all this
anything
stuff.
else, if we
I got all
can't
this stuff.
figure, okay.
Well,
Do you want to move over to the NFL then? Tell me what you like then.
yeah.
Let's go first with what do you like.
Let's go NFL first. I got 2 picks here in the NFL.
All right.
I like the Saints over the Eagles. Now, look, the Eagles did look impressive last week against Denver, put up a nice chunk of points, but they won that game on the road. In fact, the Eagles have won every single game on the road this year. All 4 wins, all 4
Mm-hmm.
games on the road, 4-0. They're 0-4 at home. And, something that the Eagles can do is actually run the ball. Jalen Hurts has been pretty good doing such, but the Saints are first in the NFL against the rush.
Right.
And Trevor Siemian, for filling in now and being the starter in 2.5 games, he hasn't been bad at all. He doesn't have a pick. He's got 5 touchdowns. And overall, and Kamara might be back too. And I just think overall the Saints are a better team here. Philly, again, at home this season, 0-4. I like the Saints in the spot.
I agree with what you said about Siemian. He passed for 300 yards last week, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he is aiming for his 3rd start in a row with 2+ touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And you mentioned it, the Eagles, I think they have found their identity in that run game. So despite Saints having the best run defense, I have a feeling that the Eagles are still going to try. I like the under in this game. That's one of my best bets for the week. I agree with you. I took Saints plus 1.5. That was actually my initial best bet for the week. Cool. So I agree with this. We'll lock it in.
Also, if they have to pass, if the Eagles do have to pass, Hurts 9 straight games, Pam, under 70% completion percentage, and in 5 of his last 6 games, under 200 yards.
Under 200 yards. Yep. He's going to have to get it done in the air. And I just don't have the confidence that he would.
Neither.
I'm not saying he's any worse or better than Siemian, but if you have 2 strong defenses, Saints could always come away with some points there on defense, as we have seen already multiple games.
Well, I also like in the NFL, I know that now, again, I'm going to bring the term up again, a fishy line. Green Bay is only minus 2.5 against the Vikings. I know we got burned a couple weeks ago, like I just mentioned, against the Cowboys with the Vikings when they really should have covered. But
the
contest
I like the line Vikings is 2.
Okay, plus 2. Well, I like the Vikings in the spot because Aaron Rodgers hasn't really been Aaron Rodgers like lately. Last game, 59% completion percentage. The game before that, 62%. He doesn't have a safety blanket, Aaron Jones, in this game to pass to. And the Vikings are pretty good against the pass. They're 14th in the league. I think they did a great job against Herbert last week, rushing him, getting some pressures in there, beating the Chargers. Vikings are first in the NFL in total sacks. And I love what they did on offense. Jefferson finally, after a couple of games where he was invisible, had over 140 yards. Cook looked really good, had 120 combined. Cousins was also very good. So I think this is a spot where Minnesota game probably here, and I think he takes down Aaron.
1 second. Harry, are you still there?
Yeah.
Harry.
I'm here. Can you see? Hear me?
There you are. My internet cut out for a minute.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
You're good to go. It's still recording. I can just chop that part up.
Okay.
I heard it. Okay, I'm going to act as if nothing happened. All right. I fully agree with your Vikings plus 2. I don't mind this at all. And in fact, it's Kelly's best bet of the week. And I also trust her. So she's we're going to be using this for our contest card as well for the NFL. So I agree with this. I'm fully on board. do you want to talk about some of my options now? I've got a lot of
Yeah.
options.
Let's do it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So my best bet that I used for Yahoo this week is SMU plus 11.5 at Cincinnati. And I am not getting off of this one. This is my best bet of the week. I've had this game penciled in for months, preseason, week 3, week 5, last week. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up on the Mustangs. I'm still going to say it. 2020 Bearcats better than the 2021 team. Last year's Cincinnati team, top 10 in the pass rush. This year, they barely cracked the top 50. Last year, Cincinnati held 6 of 8 opponents to 17 points or less, and that included some of the most potent offenses in all of college football. SMU, Memphis, they just like held them to nothing. This year, Cincinnati is now allowing 5 teams 20 points or more. It's just not the same team. And it's not just like any old team either. It's teams like Navy. It's just not the same type of potent offenses that they had last year. They're kind of allowing anybody some points now. SMU top 10 in passing yards, led by quarterback Tanner Mordecai, 37 touchdowns this season, over 3,200 passing yards. They have not, the Bearcats, faced a passing offense like SMU, and they're finding their stride right at the best time in the passing teams that Cincinnati has faced. Inside the top 50, one was a MAC school. They caught Notre Dame in a 3 quarterback situation from injury, and they only won that game by 11 points, and they beat Tulsa by 8. The other 6 opponents that Cincinnati has faced are 5 of the 6 bottom 30 for passing offense. So I don't think that this defense is going to be prepared at all. And the Bearcats, they're not doing very well exactly on their offense side of the ball either. They're 56 in passing, 50th in rushing, and SMU is top 30 defense against the run. And I definitely trust Mordecai more than I do Desmond Ridder. Don't think he's a Heisman contender. Good quarterback, yes, but I'm glad that he's no longer in the Heisman talks. SMU, they're just better on all aspects here. They have a better pass rush. They have a better offensive line. They have a stronger offense. As long as they don't turn the ball over, that's the key to any game, not just this matchup. If you win the turnover battle in football, then you're going to likely win the game. Mustangs, I think they can definitely win this game outright and completely diminish any hopes that Cincinnati has for a playoff run. I love SMU.
You know, I just love calling you the Bearcat hater. I just love saying that.
No, but you know what though? Last year, though, I'm telling you, last year I was advocating for Cincinnati to be in the playoff. This team was I'm just gonna say the team was fucking deadly last year. This pass rush was mean. They were top 5 in the pass rush. They were killer. They got to every single quarterback. They held every quarterback. They made them look like mush. This year, it is not the same. And people are still remembering 2020 Bearcats. And I fully on board with that. Not this year. Not this year. Last year was their opportunity. It's not the same this time around.
You're not worried that SMU's lost 2 of the last 3?
No. They came, they fought back. They last game though, I actually went against them last week and they completely ripped up the offense. They found their groove back. Kelly found her groove. What is that movie? Cincinnati, they're barely holding on. They're barely holding on to.
Yeah.
They're like in Oklahoma where they're barely coming out with these wins.
A little better last week out of Cincinnati. Yeah, I like that running back a lot, Jerome Ford. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns this season. But I'll ride. Yeah, look at you. Like you're high on this one. You love this one. You've been marking this one all season. So let's take the Mustangs.
I ain't going nowhere.
Okay, let's do it.
Another game that I like is UTSA -5 at home to UAB. You have both strong in quarterback pressure. They're both top 30 in the pass rush. The difference is going to be in quarterback protection. The Roadrunners offensive line, 3rd best in protecting quarterback Frank Harris, just 6 sacks on the season. But it's also because he's a mobile quarterback with over 400 rushing yards. The Blazers quarterback, Dylan Hopkins, sacked 22 times this season and not at all a mobile quarterback. He has just 13 rushing yards. That could be the key difference here in this matchup. I definitely trust that this UTSA defense, this front is going to attack and limit UAB's offense. I think the reason why this line actually opened at 6 and now it's down to 5. There's a huge overreaction last week when I was at that game, UTSA at home, 33-point favorites to Southern Miss, and they came out with a 27-17 win. Huge 2 factors about that. One, it was their first home game in a month. And UTSA was coming off back-to-back road games against a good offense in Louisiana Tech and a great defense in UTEP. Overreaction to last week's result, UTSA is the better team from Frank Harris, running back Sincere McCormick, leading pass rusher. They have it all. This is the complete team.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think you've taken them twice during the season and hit both with us in the contest picks. Undefeated. They've scored in the 40s or higher 4 of the last 5 games. They're an offensive machine. The only thing I don't know about, sometimes I look back at history and I look, and UAB, since reestablishing the program, they've beaten UTSA 4 straight times. Hopefully that has nothing to do with it here, because this is a totally different team. This Roadrunners team is loaded. UAB has gotten caught a couple times and not played well in games. They still have 7 wins. They're bowl eligible. Boy, only laying 5 is a pretty good number considering you're dealing with a team that's 10-0.
And one of UAB's losses was to Liberty, and then they lost to Rice, 30-24. So that's a huge red flag for me.
Okay.
And UTSA, I mean, they have one of the best defenses also. UAB, that's also the key difference here is UTSA is a balanced offense. They both pass and they run. They're top 30 in both. UAB is a run-only offense, and UTSA 5th best against the run. I mean, they're pretty dang good on that, again, in the run defense. So I like UTSA. I'm loving it. I'm betting it. Another game that I was thinking about, which I think I want to lay off, it was Michigan -14 at Maryland. Everything about this game says that the Wolverines are absolutely going to blow Maryland out of the water. But then I thought about it, and then 2 things. One, we don't know if running back Blake Corum is going to be back. He was out against Penn State, and it was all Hassan Haskins in that matchup. They still pulled out the win, but I would love it more so if you're a double-digit favorite on the road to have both backs instead of one. And then both of them combined for 21 touchdowns, kind of a big deal. The second thing is Harbaugh's team. Who do they have on deck? Ohio State. And I know that this is definitely a game that you don't want to let up on the gas pedal here, but I always have stuff like that in the back of my mind of, are they going to take it easy because they're looking ahead to the bigger matchup, which we know that the Buckeyes have won 8 straight. So Harbaugh's already looking forward to that one. Michigan -14. You want to consider it or just lay off?
I would consider it. I know it seems like a spot where they have a letdown here, and because they might be looking ahead. I just don't think that happens with Harbaugh here. I still think they can run the ball. I think they put points up early in this game, and salted away with the running game later. I just don't think there's a letdown here. In Maryland, I just don't think it's going to be able to move the ball at all. Michigan's defense looked fantastic last week. I'm leaning towards the Wolverines here because I know it's a big number, but I don't know.
If we're taking a big favorite on the road, then how about we instead consider a big favorite at home? And that would be Ohio State -18.5 to Michigan State. You have this is pretty fucking simple to me. You have Ohio State, CJ Stroud, Heisman contender, number 6 passing offense in the country, and Michigan State is 130th against the pass. Literally dead last in all of college football. You can't get worse than worst. And we already saw a preview of this matchup. Purdue defeated Michigan State 40-29. The big difference between the Boilermakers and the Buckeyes is the Buckeyes have a defense and the Boilermakers don't. They had 600 yards of offense in that game, 536 passing. Purdue is 70th against the run. Ohio State is top 15. So not only will the Buckeyes be able to put up points, but they should be able to definitely stop Michigan State in their tracks. Kenneth Walker, he's going to be dropped out of the Heisman chat after this, I definitely think. I like Ohio State at home. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind this pick either. I like them as well. I put them. I have Ohio State on my site by spot corner as one of my plays too, which I kind of leaning towards as well. I they hadn't covered 2 games in a row, but they rolled last week. They looked fantastic. Ohio State did last week. Stroud was great. Big numbers from him. Michigan State's had a nice season. But boy, they really let a lot of people down. I do a show in Lansing as well, and a radio show, and just they were really bad against the run against Purdue. They gave up a ton of points.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that happening again here. I just don't think that and again, Michigan State usually doesn't contend and play well in these games, especially down late in the season. I'm on Ohio State as well with you.
So then if you have it already used for something else, do you want to just go ahead and automatically plug this one in?
Yeah, we can. You know what? Do you feel better about Ohio State than Michigan overall?
Yeah, I don't think they're looking ahead to Harbaugh. It would be
No,
the
yeah,
other
I
way
know. I
around.
mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I
It
think
would
this
definitely be the
might
other
be the
way
year
around.
Harbaugh gets it done, but I'd still lean towards Ohio State here if you want over Michigan in the spot for another pick.
Then let's go ahead and do that. Then another matchup that I liked was Iowa State plus 3.5 at Oklahoma. I think potentially, I mean, it could have been one of those spots where the Cyclones sleeping last week and they lost 41-38 to Texas Tech. They lost outright as 10.5-point favorites. Now they're an underdog. Mind you, this is the only game of the season that the Cyclones have been an underdog. And Matt Campbell, under head coach Matt Campbell for the Cyclones, Iowa State is 19-10-1 against the spread as an underdog. I think this is an exact matchup as last week. OU and Texas Tech are very similar in stats, both offensively and defensively. And in fact, the Sooners are actually worse in many of the defensive categories. Playing the same team as a 10-point favorite, now a 3.5-point underdog in a game they lost by just 3. Last week, the starting point, I think it was for Oklahoma starting to fall apart at the seams. They've been holding on by a thread, and it's finally starting to unravel. Both teams are bottom 30 and converting on third downs. Cyclones slightly ahead in red zone scores, opponent touchdowns allowed. This will be who will have the ball last. I will take the hook with the underdog team that has yet to play as an underdog. And this is the first game, as mentioned, that the Cyclones are playing as an underdog this season.
Yeah, both teams here, Pam, been pretty disappointing. A bit overrated this season, and so it's making it a tough spot because I was looking forward to this game when the season started because of what both teams could have done for this conference and I thought they were both going to possibly challenge, obviously, for the Big 12, but also for a national championship. It's not happening here. Cyclones have played tough against Oklahoma the past couple seasons, and I know there's been some murmured stuff about Lincoln Riley maybe going. Even though he said it's false and everything, to maybe thinking about taking the LSU job. That's a little interesting too in this spot too. So, Iowa State has let me down. I'm not going to, this season. But Brock Purdy's been coming on lately, quarterback wise, for the Cyclones. Brees Hall still has that record going on. I don't even know what it is now. He's got like a touchdown in like 25 straight games. That's amazing. But getting that hook on the 3 is pretty good. I don't have any faith in Oklahoma, so let's go with the Cyclones.
Let's go with the Cyclones. Okay, let me see how many games and that is for us. Then that gives us SMU plus 11.5, Ohio State minus 19, Iowa State plus 3.5, UTSA minus 5, and then your Saints plus 1.5, Vikings plus 2. That's 6. If you love Utah, let's put it in.
Well, what do you here? I got 3 other games that I kind of like. I got 3 other games that you kind of like. Maybe you like one of these. I'll rip through them. If there's any, if this rings a bell to you or you like it, you let me know. I like Oklahoma State minus the points against Texas Tech. I like Illinois with the points, and I like Pittsburgh.
Illinois is playing Iowa.
Yeah,
that one's interesting to me.
Well, I looked at that because you look at defensively, 7 straight games. Illinois they're getting a double-digit points here. 7 straight games. Illinois has given up 24 points or less. Iowa, 4 of their 5 last wins, 10 points or less.
So we're getting 12 with Illinois.
We're getting 12. I like that, and I like Pittsburgh too. And I know we've been on Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh this year a couple times, I think, as well, and he's been awesome. I kind of like. Here's my thing. I don't know what you think about this, Pam, because the line is what, minus 14.5.
For
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I actually don't like that at all because the line for the contest is 14.5 and the line opened 13.5.
Right. Well, the only thing is the reason why I like Pitt because a couple of weeks ago we had Virginia and Armstrong, the quarterback who put up huge numbers all season, went down. had a fill-in backup quarterback last week, only could put up 3 points against the Irish, lost by 25. But I think this line should be more. I think Pittsburgh, the way their offense is rolling, the way Pickett's rolling, this line should be higher. So I like it, but I think it's a little phony. I think it should be about 17, honestly.
I would have loved it at 13.5, but I don't love it at
Okay.
14.5. Now we're getting more than, instead of getting the 2 touchdowns, now we need more than 2 scores. And it could very well work out. But Iowa, we're actually with Illinois, we're getting more value because that line opened 11 and it's now 12.
You want to go with it?
I definitely don't mind that at all. I actually think that this could be a game that Illinois wins outright.
And Iowa was fantastic at the start of the season. At second half of the season, not so much.
Well, ever since they lost their defensive back in Riley Moss, he kind of helped. He really was like the mold of that team, and then he was out a couple of games from injury. He is back, however, but he didn't really do much in the last game. Yeah, I mean, even looking at Iowa's schedule,
they got Nebraska next.
They just came off Northwestern. Yeah, Northwestern was a team that I thought that they were going to completely demolish, and instead it was they won that game by 5. And I think Illinois is a much better defense than Northwestern, though of course Northwestern does have a better offense.
So Illinois played impressively on the road too this year. I mean, they beat Penn State and Happy Valley in that 9 overtime game too.
I'm okay to back Illinois here.
Okay, let's do it.
You want to do Illinois?
Yeah.
Perfect. Then that's going to be it. So then those are our 7 against the spread contest picks. We're rolling with the NFL, Saints plus 1.5 at the Eagles, Vikings plus 2 at home to the Packers. And then for college football, we're going to do SMU plus 11.5 at Cincinnati, Ohio State minus 19 at home to Michigan State, Iowa State plus 3.5 at Oklahoma, UTSA minus 5. And then we're going to roll with Illinois plus 12 at Iowa. Those are our 7 against the spread picks for this week's college football NFL slate. Do make sure to check out Harry's work on bestbetcorner.com and extrapoints.com and on the Against All Odds podcast with Cousin Sal. You can follow Harry on Twitter at AAOHarry. You can follow me on Twitter at Pamela M35. Harry, my man, thank you for joining me this week. We have 2 more weeks. That's it. Just this week and next week. And then we're done. Can't wait to do it again next week. Let's finish out strong. You know what this sign is? Believe. I believe we're going to finish strong.
Nice. Let's do it, man.
All right, man.